This is the plaintiff, Brenda Sonican. She says one of the defendant's two vicious pit bulls lifted the latch to her gate with his snout, got into her yard, and attacked her poor 11-year-old golden cocker. Her neighbor grabbed the piece of wood and started beating the pit bull. The dog let go and then bit her. She was out of work for 7 days. Her dog needed emergency vet care, and the uncaring, very irresponsible defendant refuses to pay her the $4,643.96 she's owed. This is the defendant, Christine O'Brien. She says she shouldn't have to pay all this money because the dogs aren't hers and the plaintiff's gate wasn't closed when the two dogs got into it. She also never presented her with a clear itemized bill, and she is sure the plaintiff is trying to milk her for every dime she can make over this unfortunate situation of two dogs just being dogs. She's accused of having vicious propensities.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Sonican, you are suing your kind of neighbor, Ms. O'Brien, for $4,643.96 in damages that you say you sustained in vet bills, your medical bills, and pain and suffering and lost wages as a result of her pit bulls getting out. What happened and attacking your dog?
On October 5th, approximately 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I was outside by my vehicle, and my dog was outside with me in my fenced-in yard. Okay. And she was barking.
So your vehicle, you and your dogs are all inside the fenced-in yard?
Yes.
Okay.
And my dog was at the corner, like 50 feet away from me.
Okay.
And I saw her barking, I heard her barking. I looked over, and I saw a pit bull. And by the time I can get to her...
Did you recognize the pit bull?
No.
Okay. Had you ever seen the pit bull?
No.
Okay.
By the time I reached her, there was the dog.
Who?
My dog.
Okay.
The pit bull already...
How did the pit bull get into your fenced-in yard?
It lifted up the latch.
For real?
For real.
With what?
With his nose, lift up the latch, and barged his way in and pushed the gate in.
What kind of latch are we talking about?
It's like a handle. It's like a silver handle.
Do you have a picture of it?
I have a picture, yes.
Yeah, let me see. Did the dog have an owner with it?
No, did not.
This is your fence?
That's my fence.
Okay, so is the latch the kind that's shaped like this and then goes up and down?
Yes.
Or what other, how?
It's like a U-shaped.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, so that dog lifts it open?
Yes, lifted and pushed his way in.
Okay, and what happens?
And then there was another dog behind it, which they were both, by the time I got to my dog, they were both had my dog on the ground.
Both dogs?
One on each side, yes, one on each side.
And what happened? What did they do to your dog?
They sutures. I mean, my dog had surgery.
What did the two dogs do to your dog? They started to bite your dog?
Yes, they were ripping her apart each ear. You know, one on each side.
What did you do?
I screamed very loudly.
Did anybody come?
Somebody came to my rescue after I tried to get the one dog's jaw off my dog's throat because she was struggling. She was crying and screaming and struggling really badly.
Okay, how did you did you succeed in getting the dog off of your dog?
I did get the one dog's jaw off my dog's neck.
With your hands?
Yes, and that's how I got the puncture wound.
Brave woman.
I just was in survival mode.
So you stuck your hands in a pit bull's mouth in order to save your dog?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and then the neighbor who heard you screaming, what did they do?
He came over, he asked me to get a stick. I got a wood stick out of my yard, and he started hitting the dogs off.
And did that work or no?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
So what did the two dogs do after you...
They ran off.
How did they run off? Your door didn't close?
No, the gate was open at that point.
How did it stay open?
It stayed open because when they pushed it opened. I'll show you.
It just stays when you push it?
Well, they pushed it in.
So they just run off?
They just ran off.
How did you identify what house they belonged to?
I didn't. The police officer that came captured one, and he was already tied to the fence across the street
By
from
the
me.
police?
By the policeman,
And
yes.
then how did he capture the other one?
How did he capture? They canvassed the area and found the other one.
Okay, so
they
at some
observed the
point,
dog.
animal control or the police must get a hold of you. How does that happen?
Actually, that day they got a hold of me.
How did they know that it was you to get a hold of?
Because when I came out of my house that day, I was walking my girlfriend to her car, and there was a police officer, and I saw Marilyn down the road. That was
Marilyn?
Was one of my pit bulls. So.
Okay, so how many pit bulls do you have?
I have 2, but they're not mine.
Well, they're in your custody.
Well, they were my brothers, and he passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that. How long ago did your brother pass
He
away?
passed away on August 10th.
Okay, so they've been your pit bulls since August 10th. Tell me, what happened that day?
I just canvassed the area, and I made sure that the dogs can't get out because there was a spot in the backyard that she could get out of. Only Marilyn.
Well, then how did both dogs get out of your yard?
Because that day we had a solar panel people for the sun. I have a document in your file.
Just tell me what it was. You had workers there? Okay.
Yeah, and workers were there, and the gate must not have been closed because Marilyn can usually get out, but she hasn't been getting out since I moved in
Does
there.
Marilyn get out a lot?
She used to get out a lot until
And then what? Marilyn would get out a lot, and
Lucy
Marilyn,
would-
the pit bull,
Yes.
would be just roaming your neighborhood and nobody minded?
No, because not that no one minded, but the kids would come and bring her home to me.
How
because
often did that happen?
Well, when my brother got the dogs, I really don't know.
So the dogs have just been accustomed to roaming the neighborhood to pit bulls? Why is it never like poodles that roam the neighborhood? Why
No,
is it pit bulls?
it's pit bulls.
Pit bulls or Doberman, Rottweilers, that's the only things that roam the neighborhood because the owners really, the dogs are the dogs, that's their nature. It's not, the problem and the reason why we have court is because of the owners. Your
Yes.
dogs need to be confined.
Yes.
And when they're out, they need to be on leashes. It's not okay to say, well, Marilyn roams and everything's great and nobody minds because Marilyn, but Lucy, we know we got to have her on a leash. Well, how is that okay?
I didn't say it was okay. She got out, and I tried to fix the
So
problem.
why am I here? Because this happened, and you haven't paid a penny to this lady. And you know she has vet bills. She has vet bills for the dog of $900, her own medical bills of $60, and then the rest of what she's asking for is lost wages and pain and suffering. I get that, but I don't get how it is that you haven't paid her the amount that's indisputable.
When she came to my house and she asked me, I was upset with everything with my brother. She was very understandable about that because it just had happened with my brother.
Wait, stop. I'm
Yes.
sorry. This happened in October, right?
October 5th.
Your
Yes.
brother passed away in August.
Yes, and I
Okay.
was moving into his house, and we're trying to get everything up to with doing everything. The dogs came with the whole entire thing. They weren't my property or my responsibility.
Stop. That's where you're wrong. When you agree to take care of those dogs, they're your responsibility on behalf of the rest of humanity. We need you to do what you're supposed to do. You can't just keep saying, they're not my responsibility. They're not your responsibility. Take them to the pound. Do what you need to do. If they're not your responsibility, get them sold, get them given away, get them adopted. Do what you need to do. But when you choose to keep the pets, you've chosen to keep the pets. They are your responsibility.
Okay.
I don't know who else is there going to be.
I understand that, but in the whole thing, I had said that I would help her do it. I just wanted an itemized vet bill.
Didn't you get that?
No, I got an itemized vet bill with not what happened to her, not with what kind of surgery the dog had, with not anything. Just
Let me see the vet bills.
And I have it also.
That's okay. You're okay. That's all right.
Let me see what you have. What's not itemized about it? Every single thing that they charge for is right there.
Okay, well, what kind of surgery did she have?
What do you mean?
What kind of surgery? What did she have done to her? What did the dog have done?
What are you talking about? Laceration repair. There were rips and they had to get stitches.
I don't understand.
Well, if you don't understand, that's on you. That's not on the report. I'm reading it.
And then if she,
How can it be any more detailed?
So hurt, excuse me, if the dog was so hurt, why did she go all the way to Hamptons instead of the vet on the highway of William Floyd, which was 1.3 miles?
Maybe that's not her vet. Maybe she wants to go to her own vet.
Oh, all right. I was just wondering if it was so bad.
Well, apparently it was $900.81 bad. Yeah.
Well, how come
is that the total that you had to spend?
That's the total for the vet.
Okay, and then the $60 is on your own medical bills because you got bit?
I got bit.
Scratched or bit?
I got bit. I got a puncture wound. I have
Did they have to
pictures.
do stitches for you or no?
No, a puncture wound, they won't do stitches. The wound has to stay open.
Right.
They
Okay,
did an
now the rest
X-ray.
of what you're suing for is $1,683.15 for lost wages.
Yes.
Okay, because you took how long off? 7 days?
7 days total. 5 1 week, 2
And
the
pain
next.
and suffering. Why did you take 7 days off?
Because I had the puncture wound. I am a nurse, and I can't go to work with an open wound.
Do you have any medical records that say that you couldn't work because the wound
Yes.
needed to stay? Let me see that.
Thank you.
Okay, now that's a letter for your job from the urgent care center that you went to saying to excuse you from work due to illness injury. Okay.
Right.
In your statement, what you said was, I had to stay home. Let me get it completely correct. I don't want to put words in your mouth. In the meantime, I was out of work because I needed to hand feed and nurture my traumatized dog. Tell me about that.
Yes. She couldn't eat by herself. I had to feed her, hand feed her.
What were the injuries to your dog? What did it end up being?
She had staples, sutures. I have pictures. Staples, sutures,
see.
drains. My dog was on 4 rounds of antibiotics. And it was pretty traumatic. So I brought her.
How many drains did your dog have?
She had 2 drains.
What kind of dog is your dog?
A cocker mixed with a golden retriever.
So what did she say to you then?
She just said, "Oh, well, bring me the paperwork." So I did bring her some paperwork on the vet bill.
Is this the puncture wound?
That's the puncture
That kept you out of work for a week?
That kept me out of work for a week.
Listen, this is a horrible thing. I know that this was a horrible thing. But you're asking for an additional $1,600 for being out of work, plus $2,000 more for pain and suffering. The pain and suffering has to be yours over this, as opposed to that you wanted to stay home from work a week because you needed to nurse the dog.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Question, are pit bulls roaming a neighborhood more dangerous than the average dog roaming?
Not if they've been trained properly and taken care of. No.
Okay, what do you say?
No, they aren't. They aren't more dangerous.
There are a lot of pit bull attacks.
Well, they're trained to do that then.
Okay, what do you say?
If they're not abused and they're treated well, then they should be fine.
So it's the same as any other breed?
I think pretty much.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
Based on what I'm listening to, I'm going to rule as follows. Number 1, you're paying the vet bill. Number 2, you're paying the medical bill. Number 3, you are going to pay her $1,000 in lost wages and pain and suffering for the injury that she suffered. Because I don't know that that injury takes that long, okay? So that is a total that I am ordering you to pay her of $1,960.81. And may I suggest that you keep the dogs under your watchful eye, because they are pit bulls after all. And this is the nature of a pit bull. And when I say that, I am not demeaning pit bulls. I am worried about the pit bull owner and their conduct. That is what we talk about when we're in court. They need to be in. You have dogs that should not be roaming the neighborhood. Oh, this one's so nice. The kids will bring them back. That is not how this works. Neither one of them can be outside without a leash. And frankly, if we know that there's already an attack on record, without a muzzle. Okay? But you make sure that if there's solar panel guys or any other person there, that you are the one who lets them in and out of your yard and does something to secure your dogs so that your dogs don't get out. Because there's other people who live here too. Okay? Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Well, for some reason, the defendant, after losing this case, comes out with a big smile on her face. What are you
Oh, no,
smiling?
I'm just nervous.
Oh, nervous?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a nervous reaction.
Well, what do you think of the outcome here? The
It's
plaintiff.
fair. It's fair. I feel horrible. I didn't know that it was that severe. She didn't come to me as it was that severe. And honestly, if she would have came as that severe, it would have been taken a whole lot
Really?
differently.
Is it her responsibility, or maybe could you have reached out to her a little bit more and shown a little bit more empathy?
I tried to.
Okay. All right. This will never happen again, I take it?
No.
You sure of that? Because you're going to do what?
Watch my dogs under a watchful eye.
All right, right down this way. Okay. All right, come on in here. Take it easy on that finger. Don't hurt the finger coming out here. How is the finger now?
It's doing okay. I didn't get the nerve damage back yet, but
You have no feeling in the finger?
yeah, it's kind of numb.
What has this whole thing been like for you? What was that moment like when you
It
had?
was pretty bad. I was in survival mode, and I'm just happy I have my dog.
All right. Hope you feel
Thank you
better.
so
Head
much.
right down this
Thank
way.
you.
All right, Harvey, over to you.
Okay, Kurt, here's the deal. If you have an animal that is out of control in the neighborhood, a neighbor, and they will not own up to their responsibility, call the Department of Animal Control. I am telling you, they will come out, they will investigate. Worst case scenario for the owner, they will take the dog away. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.